All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Land of the Lustrous, episode 9. Okay, so
Last
Phos...
episode was a bit of a doozy.
Yeah, Phos has now transformed into a golden gem. Yes, and now has, imbibed parts of different... different metals. Now
and it's amazing and wonderful.
Yeah, now we've got this... this really sad kind of, thing of losing Antarcticite.
Right. But Phos.
But Phos.
Mm-hmm. And that shot of Phos and Adamant on the cliff.
Right.
Was amazing. So what are they going to do to pick up the pieces?
Ha 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 ha. Nicely done. I think it's going to be a question of them looking closer into what's actually going on with Phos. And we'll get probably some explanation for that pretty soon. So it's exciting, y'all. And the Lunarians are getting way more creative now.
Yep.
So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, everyone. We're going to be starting the episode in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Ne nori no te nekai komera rete ita netsu ga ni sugi wa ni tadayota sa sono iro new kisaki wo soterte imbuiku no toke.
Man, that episode is just so good.
Tsuya nitoreru tsuwa shiteru dachi ga nazukera.
I love how they focus on the booty in that one shot.
Oh, yes. No wa nami no yu ni shi wa kai kuri kaisu yume dake ga.
It almost feels weird seeing Phos in their normal state as opposed to with all the other add-ons.
Mm-hmm. Spring.
This is a nice track.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Whoa. Phos looks different.
Phos, it's more like the
jaded, maybe.
Yeah, their countenance is just really like solid.
Yeah.
You could say it's hard even, and just doesn't care. Wow. Phos.
Holy crap.
Oh. Phos has gotten just...
Because I guess the others haven't woken up yet, so...
Whoa. Oh my gosh.
This is cool. Oh yeah.
Wow. Just how little Phos cares, though, about this.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. Nice.
Even with the gold arms, it's just no problem.
No problem.
I hope the quirky
Yeah,
Phos
I
isn't
know.
gone completely. That would be
know.
really sad.
Be careful. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Oh.
Oh. Water. Wow.
Okay. Oh. Wow.
Dang. Cinnabar? That's near Cinnabar's, Cinnabar's spot, wasn't it?
Maybe?
Or that was the site of where the Amethyst twins were defeated. I think that's, I mean, where they broke for that time. Oh. Ah, gotcha.
Okay.
Oh. 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 It's okay, Phos. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, get some real rest.
Mm-hmm.
How could you do this? Wait.
That doesn't look like a mineral.
That was muscle.
Uh-huh.
That was
Adamant's
muscle.
thick.
Mmm. Oh, Phos.
Light coming back in.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Till the rest of them wake up.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're gonna be like, whoa, Phos, you're different.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Oh, who's Cinnabar? Yeah.
Oof.
Oh,
Oof. Oh, man.
this hurts. Huh? Huh? Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Whoa. Bortz is the one that just does not care at all. Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Ha! Oh my gosh. Whoa. That would be legit.
Nice.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Wow. Hey, there's some Phos right there.
It's real cool.
So cool. Oh my gosh. No. Oh my gosh. Okay, enough. Thank you. Form a line.
Yeah. Speaking from experience.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
I really hope Phos goes to talk to Cinnabar.
Hey,
awesome. Okay. Oh, this track is so sad.
It's so good, though. Mm. Oh.
That was a lot of swaying.
I handled all the patrols when...
Yeah. Do you want someone to go with you?
I'm like really strong now. Okay.
Always
the big
where
one.
Phos is. Oh.
Oh no, this is flashback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wait. Oh no, they actually are here.
Oh my gosh.
Right, can't mess around.
Yep. Nice. Ah. The little crack in the...
Bortz is jealous.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh. Well then.
Yeah. But that conversation with Cinnabar.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have the whole thing of Adamant has muscles.
Mm-hmm.
He's got muscles.
Telling ya.
What do you mean? Telling me what?
Well,
what?
the whole there's like
What?
that he's something like humanoid-ish or something.
Well, yes, just the question of is like how much of that is actually him being a human or him just having like flesh, you know? Because he hit the wall with his head casually,
yes,
and shattered it.
Sugoi, you know, he's super strong. But
see, I'm like curious like that as you are, as if he's some kind of hybrid in some ways, kind of like Phos is, but yeah, okay. Phos is different.
Yeah, Phos has changed. Oh boy.
Mm-hmm. It's really sad because one of the things that endeared us so much to Phos was that just charming, quirky personality,
bumbling, bubbly,
you know, murmuring, and just all the silliness and stuff that you know we'd come to expect from Phos is now mostly gone. Mm-hmm. There are parts of old Phos still in there,
shine through occasionally, but
it peer through the cracks, if you will. And and what we've got left though is one who is I would say guilt-ridden.
Sure. Definitely.
Phos has been a burden for so long. At least just
that now they have the ability to not be a burden, and they've seen what it's like when they are a burden, so they feel like there's a debt that they owe, maybe.
Yeah, at the very least, it's something where making Antarcticite's loss be worthwhile.
Right.
And it's something that we haven't actually gotten too much into the head of Phos specifically about.
Since this happened, yeah.
Yeah, because this was something where we basically just jumped to it, and now Phos is this way.
Yep.
We didn't see that process, and I think that that's because of the pacing of the story. We need to, at least move things along in some ways. But also, it's sad because it's something where they take these moments where Phos is distraught, and they have like little nightmarish little hauntings that come about there, and that's something that, if they're trying to draw a parallel between Adamant and Phos, what it might be is that Adamant has lost many over the course of time.
Sure.
And that's something that has made him a little cold, a little lonely for one, but
definitely.
Yeah.
One of the things that I thought was interesting here was not just the change in Phos's behavior and their design, but the fact that, because the cutting of the hair, that's a well used trope of when the character goes through some deep shift in their identity, and they question themselves, or they dig their roots deeper and find out who they really are, or whatever, and oftentimes it has a connotation of a loss of innocence, right?
Sure.
That now you're growing up and all that, right? But in this case, it also has it's the double-edged sword that it's also Phos stepping into the hole left by Antarcticite, and not just with the idea of the responsibilities, but also the personality. It almost feels like maybe Phos doesn't want to let go, because if you think about it, like with their whole how their memories work, right? With the inclusions and everything, and the fact that Phos has lost so much of their memory, and a lot of it was while being with Antarcticite, it's understandable in a lot of ways that their identity would end up getting wrapped up in Antarcticite.
To not forget, basically.
To not forget, right.
Yeah.
Especially since there's next to nothing of Antarcticite left.
That makes sense.
And it's understandable, but it's really sad, because it's the death of the old Phos that we knew, but then it's also shown when Phos interacts with like Cinnabar, for instance, and Phos barely remembers them.
Yep.
And that's heartbreaking. I don't know how much of it was the narrative versus the track in conjunction with the narrative, but that hurt.
Yeah, I think it was the track in a lot of ways, because it was something where Phos was putting on basically the
pretending.
Well, the way I interpret it was that Phos was given only the info that the other people knew about Phos's interactions with Cinnabar, because Phos was so gabby about like specific things regarding their interactions, so that Phos only brought up that stuff specifically and none of the actual deeper stuff.
Right.
So Cinnabar's just like, whatever, and then just leaves.
Yeah.
Because it seems, if at the very least, that Cinnabar sees that Phos has forgotten things, then it's that Phos is trying to put on basically a put a
good face on it.
Put a
kind
good
of
face
thing.
on it.
Yeah. And it's like, of course Phos would would try and do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, with all these characters that are immortal,
right,
and Phos didn't actually die,
mm-hmm.
Cinnabar lost potentially their only friend.
Yeah, it's something where their friend is 100% gone. Like the idea of losing memories of events is not really something that's that important. It's the memories regarding the meaning of the events and the emotions and the actual kind of
the connections with people.
Right, but that comes from the meaning attributed to specific events and things like that, not the actual things themselves. Yeah. So we have to deal with to deal with that now, which is going to be fun.
But what I'm hoping is that because that basically is a wound kind of in the relationship, then that will be something that will allow more time to be spent repairing that wound, because with the stuff that we had between Phos and Cinnabar before, the whole idea of Phos wanting to help and find something that Cinnabar can do and and everything, that was really good. But that felt like it was just a start, right? It was the manifestation of Phos's good-natured self wanting to help, right?
Okay.
But that in and of itself wasn't the important thing. It's the heart behind it, right? So maybe this will be, and it's unlikely, but maybe this will be a way that Cinnabar will open up a bit more, because they don't do that really. But now that Phos doesn't have memories and stuff, the only hope that Cinnabar has of recovering that relationship is if they open up, if they're vulnerable. So,
Cinnabar being very important, I would say, to the future development of Phos beyond just this current state Phos is at, not developing more into it, but developing in some ways out of it.
Right.
I think is going to be incumbent upon Cinnabar in order to do that. So, Phos, we miss you. We miss you.
We miss your bumbling antics. We miss all your pout faces and stuff and all of those.
And while we had the little bits of comedy here, which brought out, I would say, the last remaining pieces of Phos,
it also showed how little was left.
They're building up a little bit of jealousy between Bortz and Phos, which is kind of a thing of, I would say, Phos fulfills the role potential of someone who's the strongest now, and that's something that, as it tears down a little bit of the uniqueness of Bortz's identity. And on some level, I would say Bortz never really liked Phos. So there's that.
So there's the idea of Bortz has been doing this so long, and they've no doubt trained a bunch and all this stuff. And then Phos suddenly has tentacle powers, which are always OP. And suddenly they're the shiny, colorful, much more powerful, potentially, who knows.
Also they probably got a little bit of jealousy because of the potential special treatment from Adamant. And that's something that we've kind of noticed as being a subtle thing going throughout this, that everyone is semi-competing for Adamant's love, attention, what have you. It's kind of the father and their children kind of thing.
And there's a lot of
being
children
jealous of favorites, potentially.
Exactly.
So there's that.
Which is understandable.
It's very understandable. Phos is freaking just gorgeous. Let's just say, like everything regarding the gold and how it's used.
This is how
so cool.
It's almost like this was specifically made for the purpose of being done in 3D. Because, and I know that there's the manga and everything and whatnot, but wow.
But just it was such a good choice to have it be done in 3D. Because I don't think they could have anywhere near this level of beauty in 2D without just
it would have been stupid difficult because they might have been able to get the liquid aspect of it, I guess, but what about the reflections and everything and all
and the consistent movement.
Exactly. It's it wouldn't feel as fluid.
Exactly. It would feel a bit more static.
Yeah.
A big thing, though, Adamant has muscles.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
What do we know? What do we really know? We know that there's flesh, bone, spirit.
Yep.
And that's a thing. Like, that's an actual thing.
Right.
I think what we are looking at here is that Adamant is maybe close to becoming human, like you're saying here.
Okay.
But I don't buy into the Adamant is human.
Well, when I say that he is human, like that could be anywhere from the, you know, traditional human sense to some superhuman type sense, because obviously he's, you know, stupid strong and whatnot.
Or just a hybrid of the three.
Well, right, but wouldn't that just be human, since that's
where
humans were split into those three?
No, because what they brought up earlier on in the show, not necessarily at least, they brought up earlier on in the show that just because you could that humans were a combination of the three doesn't mean that if you brought those three back together, you would necessarily get back a human again. Because
when did they say that?
That was like, I believe that was pretty earlier on in the show. Like there was all the stuff with the MyAnimeList,
right?
And they were talking about humans, I believe.
And the idea of, rather than going back to how things were, the idea of going forward to something new.
Exactly. Right. And I think Adamant is maybe just doing what he can to move in that direction, and maybe he's already got flesh and bone.
Yeah, I would not. Well, yeah, since he has the back muscles, I would say that he definitely has flesh.
Right.
Since he's with the gems, which represent bone, then I would say that he has bone too. And then the fact that there's the connection seemingly with
meditating,
with Lunarians and everything, and the way they reach out to him, it seems like either he already has spirit, or that the Lunarians are able to tell that there needs to be a spirit inhabiting this, you know, thing, and that's why they reach out to him. But then again,
because they want him, because he'll be the ultimate thing that they can add to their.
But the thing is that he has all of the tenets of, like, you know, the emotions and stuff that, like, because they've been showing his humanity in a sense, in a lot more than just showing that he has back muscles or things like that. The emotional depth to all of that that really does feel like, you know, a person, even if, you know, maybe a strange or ancient person, or something along those lines. Right.
And I think I was kind of thinking along those lines as well, especially with regards to the gems. But it does seem more like they're not trying to make the distinction about the emotional side of things, but more the compositional side of things, because this is, you know, has got so much of the pseudo-science or the actual science kind of stuff going on here with the gems and their makeup.
And or just the fact that the gems have emotions themselves, even though they're supposed to be just bone. So
the bone is a like a classification.
Right, exactly.
It's not an actual.
Yeah, because otherwise you wouldn't have actual characters in this series, and the show wouldn't exist.
And also the inclusions are microorganisms, so they are like they're alive.
Well, and if you have memories in there, then by very nature, memories are influenced by emotions. So there you go.
Right, but like there's been like studies shown to showcase that inanimate objects even have a form of memory tracking. Like it's not necessarily not tracking, it's memory storage essentially.
Okay.
Like you could look into something like a tree, and even though you're just maybe counting rings and sorts, that's a form of actual memories. If you
and I suppose if you think about it, like with humans, I mean, you know, we store our memories via the synapses of neurons. So neurons are like, if you were to take a single neuron, it's not like a neuron is sentient, but it's still able to do that stuff. So then, you know, ergo, while it might take different forms or whatever, and a neuron might be, you know, specifically like suited to, you know, storing memory and whatnot. There's nothing to say that other inanimate objects wouldn't be able to do something similar-ish.
Yeah, and because there's also, I would say, the fantastical elements here where we have living gems. You know, we have you know, minerals. You know, like that are
certain
gems.
laws of physics are broken.
Right, and that's something that we can kind of let happen here and stuff. I believe that we are close to understanding Adamant's composition, if that makes sense.
Oh, but, yeah, I think they'll still make Adamant like mysterious, as far as his nature goes and everything.
That's what I'm. Yeah, that's my next thing I'm getting at. But to continue.
Well, just because, like, I mean, the way they present him is shrouded in mystery while at the same time not being ominous. Because a lot of the times, whenever you have mystery, there's this idea of the fear of the unknown and the potential for it being something sinister. And the more we see of Adamant, the more it seems to be something where he's, ancient and all of that stuff, but he really does care about these gems. He doesn't seem to be some kind of like, I will, wield you according to my design, blah, 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 blah.
No, if anything, he seems more and more limited the more we actually get to know him. That's why I don't think he's a perfect, 3-in-1 being, essentially. That's why I don't think that he's attained anything that is correlating to his goal.
Right. Well, and that's the tough thing, is because if it is something that's sort of tied to humanity, or the idea of being human or whatever, even if it's something beyond that, we don't know necessarily what kind of beyond we're talking about. We've seen Adamant do some things that a regular human would not be able to do, but then at the same time there's gems walking around.
Yeah,
so,
I don't measure what normal humans wouldn't be able to do. It's more of the thing of what is his goal, and if we find out his goal, it gives, I would say, it gives context and value to the potential theories we have surrounding his composition. Because his composition is something where, like, obviously he's not human. Like no one in this show is human. Like we like it's more of the thing of, like, if he is just farther along than the gems, like he's not just an ordinary gem. Like that's kind of the general assumption we're going with, right?
Well, I would say no, because then that connotates that he started as a gem.
No, okay. My point is that he's different from the gems.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That's all I'm saying, is that he is not a gem.
Right.
But he has, at the very least, aspects of the gems, in that he seems a little bit, I would say, nigh impervious to damage,
Well, that's actually an interesting thought. So, flesh. Okay, we've seen the signs of that in him fairly strongly, I would say, especially with the whole back muscles thing. With the Lunarians and the spirit, right? We've seen that with him, just with the whole stuff with the meditation and the Lunarians and all that stuff.
If anything, still don't know what that means.
Fully. Right, we don't know what that means exactly, but there's something there, right? If anything, with the gems, that's where there seems to be the least amount of connection points. Like if you think about it, well, because he doesn't, he's not actually made of gem material. In fact, he's probably not made of any kind of mineral material. He doesn't seem to fracture or things like that. From what we've seen of him, it seems like he is made of flesh, and he makes the gems put the powder on themselves and everything so that they look less mineral-like, right?
Okay.
So, and yet he is, because he's ancient, right? And he's staying here with the gems, and he's protecting the gems, and he's overseeing them and stuff. Now, it could be that there's some purpose and whatnot, but is it possible that the purpose is not something in the future, but it's a continuation of the present, and basically just keeping them safe and giving them a place to live and call home, where they, won't have to worry about the Lunarians or, anything like that.
Well, that's a future thing. Won't have to worry,
They don't have to worry.
Okay. Okay. I would say that's something that I would see as a dead end.
which would potentially explain why they haven't actually left this area. Why because if they're immortal, right, then even if they make the smallest increments towards some goal, then given that they've been doing this for thousands of years and whatnot, you would expect that they would have arrived at whatever goal they really needed to,
Right, but I think that's something that's being assumed greatly by the fact that we don't know how many of them were here when they started, and we actually know for a fact that not all of them were here when they started, because some of them are younger than others. So at the very least, I think it's more something along the lines of, if you go with that, kind of thinking on it, that it's he's making a colony. And he's building them. He's basically it's giving them that
propagating their gem species.
Exactly. But I would say that if that is something that is a part of the goal, then another part of his goal has to be about eternally securing that present in the future, and actions need to be taken in order to make that happen, given that, especially given that in the recent bit, there is an external threat
that is getting better and better,
and is actually evolving and growing, which means I would say that Adamant, probably just specifically Adamant, is one that we cannot assume was static and the same the whole way throughout.
Potentially.
Like those spells, for instance, he could have learned those over the course of his time here. There's nothing to say he did or didn't.
But it is a good point that given how long the gems have been around, how much we've seen of the show, how often the Lunarians have attacked, and how successful they've been when they attacked. Now, you could just say that it's because Phos was on the things or whatever, and Phos caused trouble basically, and caused it to go worse than it otherwise would have.
Well, there's the MyAnimeList thing where they actually work together with Ventricosis in order to do that.
Sure. Yeah, but given the Lunarians' rate of success recently, the gems are basically facing an exextinction level event. They are going to die out if this continues. Because they've been around for so long, and in this tiny little bit, they are not doing well.
Right, which is why I would generally assume that unless they're going with everything suddenly went crazy
for some reason, and we need to figure out.
Yes, and it's probably having to do, I would say, with Phos getting dissolved within Ventricosis, and Ventricosis was a Lunarian spy, essentially, for the purpose of saving her brother, Aculeatus. Then the real interesting thing is the whole aspect of communication. You have basically these other creatures out there that Phos now, luckily, because of that whole thing, was able to speak with Ventricosis. And because Phos was able to speak with Ventricosis was like, oh, cool, I can actually enact my plan and get you out of here so that I can save my brother. That ends up leading to a thing where, on some level, I believe the Lunarians found out that Phos could communicate with the MyAnimeList, and now they're doggedly going after Phos. That's why you were saying they show up every place where Phos is, because they are keenly watching basically the island for signs of weakness, and Phos is basically that combination of a high value target and a sign of weakness up until recently. When Phos got a couple upgrades,
and now they're sort of just poking the defenses by sending the older style of
just to test Phos's strength. I would say, and if this is something where Phos is now actually the
crux of their defense,
one of their strongest, what I could see happening here is that we find out what is their secondary target, and I believe that
it's going to end up being Cinnabar.
No, it's possibly that makes sense. But I would think that their primary target probably has always been Adamant,
Okay.
And or at least their just general target has been Adamant because he's been around the longest.
Well, and that whole thing with Antarcticite and Phos, that very much was a diversion so that they could well, okay, which one was the diversion? Were they keeping Adamant there so that they could deal with Antarcticite and Phos, or were they having Antarcticite and Phos being dealt with so that way they could go to Adamant without anyone else around? Who knows?
Yeah. So my thought is that basically we're going to find out a lot, not necessarily just about the Lunarians with how future attacks, like very near future attacks, happen, but also I would say specifically about Adamant because of how much things are changing within the way the Lunarians are attacking.
Sure.
Yeah. And then maybe we'll get some understanding about the whole meditation aspect and
who/what exactly Adamant is.
Yeah. But
good episode, sad episode.
It was a very sad episode. It was a very slow episode. It was hard to get, I would say, emotionally hyped about it because it was just
Phos is
it was a downer.
Now.
It was a downer.
Yep.
So
yeah.
Anything else I missed?
Nope. No.
Okay. Cool. Well, y'all, Land of the Lustrous. We've still got a few more episodes to go, and there's a lot they can do in a few episodes, given what we've seen thus far. Yeah. And Phos has now transformed completely into this new Phos, and it's sad. It's sad, y'all.
It is.
I miss old Phos. So, y'all, if you want to see the next episode's reaction discussion right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there, and any level support gets you access to our Discord, where you can chat with us about stories, about Land of the Lustrous, about just anime in general or whatever. And if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.